Hey everyone, and welcome to the third week of NaNoWriMo. This week was a bit of a rocky week for us. We took a lot of days off, but the days that we did write, we hit some big word counts. The third week is always a tricky one because you realise that you're too far into the story to really give up, but you definitely want to, and it feels like there's still so much story left. It actually feels like this one is going to be even longer than our first draft, which at the end I think got to about 80,000 words, which was crazy. Just acknowledging that hopefully we will get to 50,000 words at the end of the month, but that definitely won't be the end of the story is a little bit troublesome, but it looks like that we're going to have to take some more time to write, which isn't really a bad thing because we do have the time to do that. But I just hope that in that time we'll still have the urgency that we have now to finish it. It's 10 PM on the 16th, so a late update to say that I managed to write 1,800 words today. This is after a couple of days off, so I'm really excited that I managed to rack up quite a high word count. It's the scene after our inciting incident for the two main characters, where they're actually together and interacting. It's something completely new that we didn't have in the old draft, and I'm actually surprised by how smooth it came out the first time I was writing it, so I'm anxious to read it to Bea to see what she thinks, because with her stamp of approval I can definitely move on. Hopefully this has set a good precedent for tomorrow because we've got big plans. We need to catch up for the days that we didn't write when we were too busy fangirling over BTS. Is there anything more satisfying than this tiny green bar? I have been so productive today. I managed to, one, do the task that I've been putting off for ages, and that is go through what I was calling the second chapter of my piece, even though it was well over 4,000 words. I needed to split that up so that it matched with our outline, and I also needed to know that I wasn't exceeding the chapter limit that I had on my character so that it was matching Maddie's character so they could alternate well, and it was a lot easier than I was expecting, so that's a good thing. I wasn't expecting it to be easy just because we changed some things that happened in the third and fourth beat, so I was kind of just like making up as I went along, but luckily it still split well into the different sections. And then after that I went straight into working on the bit after our characters meet, and I managed to write like probably about 1,000 words, and I copy and pasted like 400 more from my old draft that I will be editing and integrating tomorrow. I'm really pleased that I managed to write like 1,000 of my own new words, and I actually ended up really liking the scene. As I was writing it I kept thinking that I was veering off track too much, but then when I read it out to Maddie I was surprised with how coherent it was, and she seemed to really like it, so I'm pleased because before I started writing I really wasn't feeling confident about doing new words, but to feel so like enthused and actually proud of what I've written today really inspires me for tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to go to the library, so hopefully we can be in complete flow. I also went through and just added in the synopsis section on Scrivener for the next 3 chapters, so I familiarised myself with them, so I'm ready tomorrow and I am excited to work on them. But because our characters have now met and the story like meshes into one, I am relying just a little bit more on what Maddie is currently writing now for my work tomorrow, although I will be able to start the scene, but I'll just have to start it in the middle and then worry about the beginning later. I will admit that I have spent like the last hour figuring out who BTS would be as Animal Crossing characters. Just past 1,000 words after being here for 2 hours. We're going to treat ourselves to having a little lunch break, even though I feel like I don't deserve one because I had a break like 15 minutes ago. I've written 800 words, which is okay, but like you, I'm getting stuck all the time. It's definitely not coming as easy as it was yesterday, and I'm leaving a lot of gaps in my conversation because it will flow for a little bit and then I'll get to a point where I'm like, what would they say next? So I think I might have to like read out loud to you and you can like suggest where it would go from there, because it's feeling a bit bitty at the moment. I'm just trying to describe someone being absolutely overwhelmingly excited without using the word excited. Difficult. I am leaving the library with 1.3k words. I managed to write 1.2 thousand words, which I'm happy about in the end. I just wish it could have been more, but I think that's always going to be the case. It also seems like I can only ever like finish the scene that I was working on yesterday, so I made sure to like just start writing like random scraps of dialogue or little bits of prose from scenes that are going to be coming up in the next chapter. So hopefully when I come to work on them again, maybe later today, but maybe tomorrow, that I will feel more inspired to continue. I think today was just a problem of not having a clear vision of what I was going to write, as opposed to yesterday where I already knew the end goal. I think the session went well. It was kind of like choosing to power through even when it felt difficult. So I'm proud of myself for sticking with it and staying here so long. Just going to keep a positive mindset for tomorrow and try and think ahead a bit more of what I'm going to do.
I managed to write 2 extra scenes after coming home from the library, and they're kind of out of sequence now as I have to wait for B to write what follows what I did at the library. I'm finishing the day on just over 2,000 words.
These late night sessions that boost my word count are really working for me.
B, what's your final word count?
Well, I don't know whether I am finished because I feel like I'm in flow, but obviously that's almost a good place to leave it because it means that tomorrow I'll be able to come back to it and hopefully like read through what I've done and then pick it straight up. It is kind of nice to leave
with something else. Little breadcrumb for tomorrow. Yeah. Maybe just write a sentence as well so you know where you're going.
Oh, I think I'll get where I'm going.
Okay. Famous last words.
I'm doing another scene between my character and her mum, and those scenes just like flow out of me, like the words just rip from my brain straight to my fingers and I just type them really quickly.
I think that's because it's the relationship that you understand the most.
I also forgot that I could give my characters things that I personally enjoyed so that I'd be able to write them easier. For some reason that just doesn't naturally come to me, so I've decided that one of my characters is going to be super into Avatar: The Last Airbender, because if NaNoWriMo from last year is anything to go by, that is like my ultimate favourite show. I also realised that we haven't been doing a very good job of telling you where we are word count wise each day, but overall we're nearly at 29,000, so tomorrow we'll cross 30,000 for the month, which is really exciting, even though technically we're already there with the stuff that I worked on before April. It's now the 24th of April and it's been quite a while since we've updated our writing vlog. I have written 18,600 words this month and I have written 20,600. So that puts us really close to 40,000, which is amazing, but that still means we've got 10,000 to go in the next 6 days.
So B, how do you feel about the project recently and how you've been doing in the week that we haven't updated?
We had about 4 days where we literally didn't work on it, and that was over the Easter weekend. It's always a bit more difficult when it's nice weather outside to force yourself indoors to write, because we always want to like go and read or just enjoy the bright weather, because taking your computer out isn't really an option. Although I appreciated the break, I knew that I felt guilty doing it, so it was really important for us to get back to it for the final week of NaNoWriMo. But I feel this is how it always is, like week 3 is we just slope right off on it with productivity, emotionally with it, everything. It just completely flatlines. That's what happened in November, and we actually had to like pull out of NaNoWriMo a week earlier. NaNoWriMo of 2017 we had like a crazy sudden wind in the final week, so I'm hoping we may be able to replicate some of that magic now to get this 10,000 words done. But today we worked really hard, and I find that when it comes to writing, like if I want to be productive, then I can only write. Like I can't watch TV or I can't read, I can only write, and even then I may only get like 2,000 words. That's probably the most I've written in a day, but that's still amazing to me, and obviously I have Maddie's word count that like boosts us up. So today I think we may even hit over 5,000 words in a day, which is amazing, and the most we've had probably this whole NaNoWriMo. You already mentioned that we were going to work in Google Docs to try and write our characters together, especially when they were having conversations, because I was finding it really hard to like get into Maddie's character's voice. And we managed like 300 or so words throughout an entire day. It was painful doing it, and I think it's because we had all this fear holding us back. And then today Maddie has been writing a load of scenes between our 2 characters by herself, and I've just kind of been like flitting here and there trying to get Act 1 finished for my character. I'm really looking forward to the next 10,000 words we write, because it's finally getting to the stuff that feels genuinely new. Obviously there are scenes that we hadn't written before for the first act, but in terms of the beats and what actually happened between the characters, it felt the same, whereas in the break into Act 2 we've made quite big changes in how the story goes and what their main goal is. I'm actually really pleased with myself, because I've said that so many times in this video that I'm proud of what I'm doing, and I'm pleased that I have that on record, that I'm happy with the work that we've done each day, because even though we've had days off, on the days where I have been writing, it's always been around 2,000 words, which is quite strange for me because I always thought that 1,000 words was a really good goal to hit, and I keep challenging myself to constantly go over that. I think it just proves that the more you write and the more familiar with your story, the easier it is for the words to come out. Even when you're writing the scenes, it doesn't feel that way. I just think that our mindset is a lot better than it was in previous NaNoWriMos, where when we'd hit 800 words, because that was what we each had to write in a day to hit the minimum word count, we'd be like, that's done, we can finish now, regardless of whether it took us like 20 minutes to do or 3 hours. I constantly think like, well, there's more time in the day, which means there's more time to write. Yeah, hopefully the last week of NaNoWriMo we can really do ourselves proud, do these characters proud, and get to a part of the story that we've never reached before.